Am I the asshole for leaving after being told to be quiet at dinner? The title probably makes it sound worse than it was, but I'm still conflicted.
Sounds like something I would do.
My female 21 boyfriend, male 24, of almost 1 year, invited me to dinner with his family, mom, dad, and his 16-year-old brother. Never met them prior to that. The only thing I knew about them is that they're conservative and Christians, but lovely people. And they were. I got along really well with them. Before dinner. They were lovely and talkative. When it was time for dinner, my boyfriend's dad wanted to pray. After praying, he said something along the lines of, quote, "Let us dig and let the food keep us quiet." This is a pretty popular saying in our country, mostly told to young children in school. My understanding of this has always been that you shouldn't speak with food in your mouth or be extremely loud at the table. I wouldn't say it's a cultural thing, though. I dug in, took a bite. It was fish soup. Absolutely delicious. And you know, like a good guest, I wanted to compliment the cook. "This is delicious. Is it saffron?" "A perfect autumn soup." That was all in quotes, by the way. My boyfriend's brother looked surprised. My boyfriend's father hushed me. Big time. A really aggressive shh with a finger over his lips. And then he said again, "Let the food keep us quiet."
What in the cult?
I was literally just thinking that. I apologized because I thought I had accidentally spoken with food in my mouth or something, but a few minutes passed and nobody said a word. Super awkward and weird, especially since they had been so talkative before. My boyfriend was also unusually quiet. After a few minutes, I was too weirded out and asked about their day and how, God damn it, and how nice it was that they invited me there. And his mother did the hush thing. So awkward. I think this is when it clicked. No speaking at all at the table. Let the food keep us quiet. Really quiet. But this was a super awkward situation, and I couldn't deal with that. Imagine sitting at a table with 5 people, everybody eating soup, looking dead serious. So I laughed. It just slipped out. Ended up being told off by boyfriend's parents that I was being disrespectful, etc. And if I didn't respect how their household worked, I could eat alone in the kitchen. We were eating in like a separate dining room. So I thanked them for the food and left to the hotel me and my boyfriend stayed at. Oh. My boyfriend later told me that was an asshole move, that I should have just kept quiet or eat alone in the kitchen. I understand their family traditions and rules, but it was so weird. I just couldn't take it anymore. Was I being the asshole though?
I don't know. This is kind of hard because I'm like, I'm laughing so hard because I 100% would have laughed. I can't help it. Like, I'm just so, like, I am such a sarcastic person and I just like these type of things like just make me giggle. I don't know why. Or even if I don't find it funny, it's like sometimes I laugh. Awkward laugh. I laugh because I'm uncomfortable.
You don't know what else to do or say.
I definitely like laughing is just, it comes out all the time, whether I'm like scared, sad, happy, like
yeah, no,
like, a laugh comes out.
I feel that.
But it's like, okay, he should have warned her beforehand if that was like the cultural norm and expectation. You can't just like, what? That's different. Like, and I'm sorry if it's not different, then like I'm not familiar with it. But that's news to me. I didn't know that people did that, and so I just think that it's pretty makes sense that you would let your significant other know the first time that they're meeting with your family, unless he genuinely thought everyone did that. But
this is why he has not introduced his family after a year of dating. That's why it took a year.
But then say it.
But and it makes me wonder if like he just grew up with this. So at this point he like thinks it's normal.
That's what I'm,
and this is what all families do. But also at the same time, it's kind of like, have you ever been dinner at a friend's house?
Yeah, anywhere else.
But like some people didn't. And like there was this thing that like really blew up recently. And I think it started on Reddit and then people brought it to Twitter and TikTok. But there was this thing where in Sweden, if you go over to a friend's house, it's really common to not be invited down for dinner. And so like the parents will be like, okay, little Johnny, come down for dinner. But your friend, tell him to stay up in your room. Like this like went super viral. And maybe that's a rumor. I'm not trying to slander Sweden because, I gotta love my Scandinavian countries, my Finnish self here. But
I have Swedish in me.
Look at you.
Yeah.
But apparently that's a thing. So maybe they just he just grew up and was like, didn't have other experiences. So he was like, hey, this is what we do in my house. And like, can you just respect it for one dinner? We're just visiting. This is the first time. Like, make a good impression. But I'm going to say like, not the asshole. Like, this is a really weird situation.
Yeah.
Really weird. And to be like aggressively shushed with like an actual finger over the mouth. Like, shh, are you?
Oh my God. I had like an ex one time shush me, and it is literally like the most like disrespectful feeling ever.
How?
Like that. Like, shh.
In what context?
Like if I was saying something and they were focused on something else.
How long did you date them after that?
A while. But yeah, I was so thrown back by it. And I literally said to him, I was just like, don't do that. Don't do that. Like literally just
do that again.
Yeah, I'm like, either like walk away from me. Like I'd rather you like slam the door in my face than like shush me like that. Like that's just so disrespectful. Don't do that. It's not a good feeling at all. So that's rude. That's rude in every language.
It is, yeah.
Like that aggressive, I should say. Like if you're like shh like that, but when you're like shh like in someone's face like that, like it is so jarring.
Also, it's the first time she's there. So
first time meeting them.
And it could have been like when she started talking, it could have been more of a conversation and like, hey, you know, we have this thing in our household where during dinner we actually don't speak.
Sorry.
It's just kind of one of those things where it's like, give her a little more context so it's not like this thing where it might feel like a prank. Yeah. Because have you seen those TikToks? And this is funny because it's like, this is more harmless. But there's these TikToks where it's like, I brought my boyfriend over for a family dinner for the first time. And as a joke, we all stood up and said the Pledge of Allegiance before dinner. And every single video, like this has been a prank trend on TikTok. And this is another prank. This is one of the few that I'll get behind.
Yeah.
Because it's so harmless and like funny.
Did I tell you what we did to to Jeff and his best friend whenever he first met my family?
No.
Oh my God. So it was like, we were all outside and it's like during, like, you know, it was within not that long ago, but it was, people were not as afraid of COVID anymore. Like things were starting to become like things were back to normal. And I invited him over to the backyard and I was like, should we mess with him and pretend that we're like super, you know, whatever. So we all put our chairs around the bonfire, like all like, I think like 15 feet from each other. So we were like 15 feet each other, like in a huge circle, and we all had our masks on and we're outside. And so then when they got there, we're like, do you guys have your mask? And they were like, oh, sorry. I'll go get one in my car. And then my brother was like, no, it's okay. Like I have masks for you guys. So he hands them the mask. And then he goes, here, you guys can be seated right here. They were not only like not in the circle, they were literally like 20 feet outside of the circle. Then,
oh my God. And he just went along with it?
Yeah, they went along with it. And they're like, so they started talking to them. And then all of a sudden we all started dying laughing. We're like, we're fucking with you guys. They're like, oh my God.
They probably were so weirded out. He's like, what am I getting myself into dating this girl?
Well, it's like, and it was so fair because it was like, everyone was really worried about COVID and like it was just starting to be normalized to be able to like be around people. And so it fit perfectly.
Yeah. We do have quite a few comments from the OP on this one. And by quite a few, I mean 3. Info, is this a common practice where you are? Is it more of an outdated tradition you knew of and had never seen, or had you never come across this before? If it were me in my country, I'd absolutely say you're not the asshole. I'm not sure I could have kept a straight face over such an absurd and outlandish request. But that's on the basis of the cultural norms of the countries I've lived in. It really depends on how common this is in your country and how reasonable it was for you to not know about it / for them to expect it. And OP goes, I wouldn't say it's a tradition at all. It's something you say at like preschools to keep the kids calm, I guess. I always thought it meant to not speak with food in your mouth, so it was just double confusing. I saw someone say I should have gotten the hint too after the first time, but like I've never met these people before and they were talking a lot before dinner. And someone goes, info, if you have been with your boyfriend for a year, do you eat with him? How has this never come up? What was his excuse for not warning you? Mm-hmm. My boyfriend talks when we're eating. Yeah. I know he has a weird relationship with his family. I was about to meet them this summer, but he changed his mind and said it wasn't a good time, which is what I said. I'm like, this is why they haven't met. Yeah. He's also told some weird stories about them, but usually excuses it by that they're conservative Christians and that's how they roll. and that they're still good people. But some people said this dinner thing has nothing to do with being Christian or conservative. So I'm guessing the other weird things has nothing to do with it either.
Yeah.
It's just so weird that they made me feel so loved and welcomed at first and then treated me like shit.
Yeah.
I haven't talked a lot with my boyfriend about this after it happened Friday because I went home Saturday and he stayed. He did tell me he had no idea they were going to do that when I was there. He said not every dinner is like that.
What the
And I guess I'm kind of bad with social cues and my boyfriend just expected me to understand. I don't think he's ever mentioned the quiet table though.
Interesting.
I also want to say that the expression I'm talking about can literally mean two things. It's either shut up and eat or don't speak with food in your mouth. But no one takes it literally and most people interpret it as don't speak with food in your mouth. And someone goes, you're the asshole because once you cut on, you laughed. That was disrespectful. Pretty sure you knew that too.
Yeah, that's why I was like, it's kind of hard to answer because it's like, I mean, was kind of an asshole move, but I also feel like I would do that out of like being,
uncomfortability.
Yeah, uncomfortability. Or maybe I literally just would think it was funny. I don't fucking know.
It's weird when you're faced with something like this.
Yeah.
And like you really kind of question your sanity in that moment.
Yeah.
Because I would definitely like look around and be like, Ashton? Mr. Kutcher? Like I would be weirded out. It's not a normal thing in our context, which I do appreciate that commenter being like, hey, like, where are you from?
Yeah.
Is this normal to provide you know, more context? But it doesn't sound like it's normal in her context either, which then makes it really acceptable that she had this reaction.
Right.
They continue on like walking out in a hissy fit was an asshole move. You just escalated it to a whole nother level. Your boyfriend is also the asshole as he should have warned you. OP responds and goes, well, it's not like I wanted to laugh. It just slipped. A nervous, really awkward laugh.
Yeah.
Like when someone is telling you you're lying, but you're not, but you laugh anyways. And I didn't leave in a hissy fit. I just felt super awkward and uncomfortable. His parents raised their voice at me without trying to explain things calmly.
Yeah.
Which is like, they should have done that. They should have been like, hey, dear, you know, this might
this
not
is what we
be
do.
your usual, but we don't talk during dinner.
Say something. Like, why does it have to be in a prayer? Say it beforehand. Hey, by the way, we have quiet time at dinner. We don't speak.
We practice mindful eating, and instead of conversing with each other, we try to mindfully eat our food.
Yeah.
Which is actually a thing.
Yeah.
Mindful-based eating is really fucking good for you, actually.
And that's great. But it's like, say that. Don't like put it in some like poetry poem, like
and then
prayer.
Shush.
Prayer. Poetry, prayer. You know what I mean? Like, don't have her decode it.
No.
Just say it.
It's a little goofy.
Say it and then do the prayer. We can have it all. We can be happy, all of us, all together. Everyone can be happy. Where's Justin? Communication.
Yeah, seriously. I do think if that would have been like prefaced, like if that would have been set up front before dinner,
like dope.
I think it still would be weird, but at least she would have known like this is a usual thing.
Yeah.
Like we don't talk, blah, 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 blah. And I also don't think it's rude that she was like, hey, thank you for dinner. I am going to excuse myself. Because at that point, like,
how do you like get through that without it's uncomfortable at that point? Yeah.
Especially after someone raised their voice at you.
Exactly. And she like that, like I said, that's really a jarring feeling.
Yeah. Top comment, 48,000 upvotes. Not the asshole. He could have warned you and given you the opportunity to skip dinner because you don't dine in monasteries. Also, you are not a 3-year-old to be sent to the kitchen to eat alone.
I know. That's so weird.
Next person goes, this is super controlling, weird behavior.
Yeah.
Do they shush everyone who eats with them or do they expect OP to follow this controlling behavior? The fact they tried to send her to the kitchen is absolutely bizarre.
So weird.
And rude. You don't speak to guests in your home that way.
I think I told you this. It was funny because it's actually, I was at a friend's grandparents. We were visiting in Chicago. And I had no idea. I felt so embarrassed. But her grandparents are Jewish. And I believe they're Jewish. And anyway, we were all eating around. And they made us this amazing meal. And we're all eating together. And we're laughing. And we're having this great time. And they're in the middle of like talking to somebody, like one of our other friends. And I didn't want to like disrupt anyone. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to do the polite thing. And instead of asking, I'm just going to go into the fridge and grab some butter for my potato. And then I bring the butter to the table and they were like, no. And I was like, what? And they were like, no dairy. And I was like,
it's not kosher.
I know. I felt so bad. I felt so stupid. I was like, oh my God. Anyway, So
it's really
it really sucks when you like are just trying to like be polite and then you like end up not doing
a faux pas.
Yeah, and you're like fuck, like, but they were nice about it. You know, they were so nice about it, and I was the one that felt so embarrassed. And like, no, it's okay. Like what and then I hear this story and I'm like, these parents were mean. They're mean. Don't be a dick.
I know, very very weird.
I'm in a weird mood right now.
I know, I like it. Let's keep rolling.
Is it obvious?
I think we're both just a little unhinged today.
I'm not even unhinged. I just feel like I'm like aloof. Or not even aloof. I feel like I'm just floating.
Yeah.
Floating in the sky.
I like that.
You know what? I'm going to get myself another drink.
Okay, dokie.